So do you want to go ahead and talk about Missouri Amendment 4 real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you know much about Missouri Amendment 4 already coming into this?
Um, Little. I've read bits here and there, but I haven't really done any deep dive on it. So
So I think it's actually it can be explained very simply, despite what um, Kehoe and Republican state legislators tried to do in making this ballot language very long-winded
obtuse.
and obtuse, which a judge did revise, which is fantastic, and I'll get into that a little bit. But so as things currently work, we have a system of citizen-led constitutional amendments
Mhm.
that is it requires a 50% plus one majority to pass,
Yeah,
the same as legislatively introduced, introduced by our elected legislative body in the state,
yeah.
um, introduced ballot measures. So
Mhm.
50% plus one vote. And there's already a lot of red tape to run through to get something on the ballot as a
It's a pretty high
citizen.
bar as it is. Yeah.
Yes, there's already a high bar for that. What Missouri Amendment 4 does, very simply, straight up, only for citizen-led ballot initiatives. So keep that in mind. It's only
Yeah.
for the citizen-introduced ballot initiatives. To pass one of those, you have to not only have a majority across the state, that would actually be a given because you need to have a majority in all eight
In
of our
each
congressional
legislative
districts,
district.
in
Yeah.
each congressional district. And what it means is there's actually, from this article I was reading, I believe this was from one of the articles on the Missouri Independent, which I'll make sure to find that and I'll link it as well. But this number that really stood out to me, I really had some appreciation for it. During the 2024 election, 311,915 votes were cast in the first congressional district out of the state's 2,960,266 votes. Okay. So what those numbers mean basically is that about 156,000 voters, or approximately 5.3% of the statewide vote, could prevent any citizen-led ballot measure from passing. You need only to lose. You need to only to not hit 50% plus one in a single one of our 8 congressional districts for a ballot measure to not pass. Which, when with that number, we have states where ballot initiatives require 60% of the majority of the statewide vote to pass. And that is still infinitely more fair,
Yeah.
infinitely more democratic, but that just tells you the amount of power that it gives. I think the best way it's been expressed actually was that the disproportionate power here means that if you want to educate people uh, in the proactive for voting for a congressional, a citizen-led ballot initiative, you have to educate and work across all 8 congressional districts. But if you want to kill it, you only have to focus on one.
Yep.
One of the contentions that with the system as it exists, that proponents for Amendment 4 have said is that you have urban centers that are making all the decisions because that's where most of the people live. And you have, and that's it's literally just that simple. I mean, it's a coded language because what we're talking about by and large here is black people when they talk
Racism.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, racism. But
Yeah. Let's call a spade here.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
fucking racism at play, and like,
yeah,
well, racism is a tool. Like they're using.
right. Yeah, racism as a tool there's like a coded language behind it, and there's also, this is part of like the sort of non-existent like the facade of class divide that the Republicans like to dive into. The Republican version of the class divide is if you live in the city, you're a leftist, liberal, cuck, LGBTQ,
Yeah.
whatever, and if you don't, you're a rugged individualist. And and what America was founded on, and the exact image that George Washington had in his mind when he crossed the Potomac. And
Yeah.
the gerrymandering is very very effective tool for them in this situation to, again, not just change who shows up in Congress to represent us, but to even change. It now has a dramatic effect under this. If this passes, it has a dramatic effect on what we can pass for ourselves just for the state.
Yeah.
These people fear this kind of progress that's led by the people so much that, again, they're willing to install a system that is so egregious that less than 10% of the vote could decide the entire vote.
Yeah.
Like,
how is that democratic?
yeah, it is inherently anti small d democratic. Like it just is inherently disenfranchisement of people's vote through the way that we understand how voting actually works, how people's votes are manipulated by funding. If you can direct all your funding to one congressional district to kill something and ignore every other one, you've created such a
You're
huge
saving a lot of money there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saving a shit ton of cash for sure. And conservatives love saving cash.
Yeah.
It's their favorite.
Especially when it comes to fucking disenfranchising voters. If they can do that on the cheap.
Oh yeah.
Win-win, baby.
I did want to highlight what changed in the ballot language, and I couldn't actually find how it's going to be worded on the final ballot. After
is that set in stone at this point, or is there still wiggle room there legally?
I think it might be set in stone right now. I'm not sure. It might be a little bit wiggle. Everything that I've seen for this still shows the full name, which I actually I want to read really quick the full name of this,
please.
as it was originally written before a judge changed the ballot language. Missouri Amendment 4 require congressional district approval for initiated constitutional amendments, which is worded so vaguely, prohibit foreign contributions, and penalize petition fraud amendment. Okay, so those last two
they make
parts,
that sound like such a fucking good thing.
Yes,
this prevents fraud and keeps out foreign money. Darn, that sounds good. Yeah.
And those last two parts specifically, the prohibit foreign contributions and penalize petition fraud amendment, the petition penalize petition fraud. Those parts of the amendment, that's already standing law. It would change none of that shit. So the implementation,
which should tell you all you need to know, but
yeah. And so it's what's called ballot candy. Essentially, it's misleading language that either pumps up the value of some ballot measure or adjusts what the intent would actually be of it. So the only thing that's going to show up is the way that the title was changed as I read it in the Missouri Independent article and other places that I read about this. It looks like it will read Missouri Amendment 4 require congressional district approval for citizen-initiated constitutional amendments or something to that end. And it drops those last two parts, which is awesome. I think that was a really important ruling. And there's also some changes to requirements for how it should read.
Right.
So the reasoning for removing those last two parts was its restatements of current law and doesn't reveal to voters what the measure would achieve if passed. And then so that's why they're removed from the summary statement. And then I believe they're also required to change the language such that you have a better understanding of what you are proactively voting for.
Well, good on the courts for doing their job in this process, and trying to
Well,
keep us honest.
and Kehoe and others, and some Republican representatives have been out there saying that this is an example of a judge legislating from the bench.
Legislating from the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they love that term.
Bench partisanship, which is an incredible thing to even say in this day and age. Yeah. To me, I'm going to say it. This is another slam dunk. This is as easy a slam dunk vote in one direction as the renewal of the Missouri State Parks tax. This is when you actually read this. This is a no brainer. This is a vote
100%.
no. Like it's so clearly a vote no. Like disenfranchise yourself and fuck yourself over. How about not?
Yeah. Why would any reasonable person want to take the power away from the citizenry? Unless you're in a very, very small group of people that have a vested interest in controlling things and taking said power away from the citizenry.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just a fucking citizen of this state, why would you want to diminish your own agency, your own ability to affect change in your state?
Well, I'll say this
baffling.
to run directly at, like, I think anybody that votes Democrat is already going to be in line to, when they read about this stuff, to read about it from news sources and hear about it on YouTube and whatever from sources that are already going to tell them how fucked up this is.
Yeah.
I want to clip this for YouTube Shorts in some way, a little bit of this, but to run directly at the Republican line of support for this, which it does seem to be completely partisan from what I've seen, again, being pushed by our MAGA loving, our Trump prostrating governor. Republicans, as far as I understand, your average everyday Republican voter believes in the freedom for self-determination and self-governance. Right? Like that is like one of their things. We want to be free in this country to make our own choices and to live our lives the way that we see fit. We don't want to be beholden to some woke agenda. Okay? So why would you allow the state government to inhibit your rights such that if you wanted to make some change for you and your fellow rural Republicans, that you would give St. Louis the power to override that citizen ballot measure by just having? Why would you give liberal elites?
You know what they have in St. Louis? They have black people there.
Right. And if they see something good for Whitey on the ballot, they're going to vote against it. And that's all that needs to happen for your ballot measure to fail, your citizen-initiated ballot measure. I definitely encourage people to read the Missouri Independent article on it, which I thought was about the judge's changes to the language, and which also describes what it would actually do, what the amendment change would actually do, and and just again, like I said, consider what it means to give ivory tower elites in St. Louis that much control over citizen-initiated ballot amendments. I mean, that's wow. No, it's like I said, it's like it is necessarily giving like overwhelming weight to some votes, and those votes are going to be the ones that are targeted by a fundraising and advertising apparatus that just drops everything it can to sway the vote one direction. I'd say one congressional district is not likely, but like 3 out of our 8, as opposed to trying to hit all 8.
In a perfect world, political power should be evenly distributed across the citizenry of the state.
One vote should equal one vote Full stop.
Yeah.
That's just how it should just. It should be
Fucking
that
everywhere.
direct.
Like it should be that simple nationally.